Hello everybody, Jim here looking at robertsspaceindustries.com. That's where you go if you want to try Star Citizen for free. If you don't feel like purchasing a $45 or $60 game package to, own the game, but you really would like to see what it's all about, this week is the week to do it, starting on the 23rd of November 2018. Everything is free. I'm making this video essentially because I promised I would. I've told a lot of people throughout this year and last year that the next time I saw Free Fly, I would let everybody know and maybe make some suggestions. So that's what I'm doing. If you go to Roberts, R-O-B-E-R-T-S, spaceindustries.com, you might see this bar across the top for the next week or so. Click on More Info, and it will take you to this page. On this page, they welcome you to their 2018 anniversary Free Fly event. And if you scroll down, they've got instructions on downloading and installing. They've got gameplay guides on getting started and mining and equipping your character. They've got a little list of all the ships, which I'm going to get into shortly. And down here, you'll see system requirements. It says minimum, but there's different kinds of minimum, aren't there? This actually looks a little more like recommended. Well, I guess quad-core wouldn't be recommended. This is pretty essential for the most part. But like 16 gigs of RAM, you don't need 16 gigs of RAM to play this game. I've played it with less. I believe I've played it with as little as 4. I mean, 16's great. It's actually what I've got, but I wouldn't call it minimum. You can definitely get away with 8. So yeah, have a look at this. And mind you, if you want to play in the persistent universe, this is all a good idea. Though again, you can get away with 8 gigs of RAM. But if you want to go into Arena Commander, I think I've seen people playing a dual core. Don't quote me in Arena Commander. Granted, you're not getting a great frame rate, but it is playable. And if all you want to do is go into Free Flight and look at the inside of ships, you don't need a great frame rate. So it all depends on what you want to do. If you want to get the best possible experience, yeah, this is minimum. If you just want to have a look around inside of a ship, you can get away with a lot less. So that's what you'll find on this page. Now let's go back just a little bit. Here we go. And if you scroll down, you'll see this down here, anniversary promotion and Free Fly details. This might pop off, actually, which I don't know. It's kind of dumb that they put it down here. If they release anything else, this will be off the screen. You're going to have to click on View All to find it. But it's here right now, so let's click on Read More. And this is the last thing I'm going to talk about, and it's going to take a few minutes. This is a list of every day and every ship that will be available for anyone to fly on each day. November 23rd, you get Anvil Aerospace. I don't know what the Aero is. I expect that's probably a new ship we're going to get to poke around in. But if you can only fly one ship on this list, just one, if you want to do a fighter, it's a Super Hornet. If you want to do a ship you can walk around in, it's the Valkyrie. Now, if you have access to some other size 4 guns, maybe you have other ships, try the Hurricane. Put some combine ballistic cannons on the front of that thing, and man, is that fun. This actually, I haven't done a video on this. I meant to. It came out while I was super busy and couldn't make videos. And I like the Hurricane. It's everything I hoped it would be, and many of the things that CIG said it wouldn't. So maybe you can look forward to a video on this one soon. I like that one a lot. But if you're only going to fly one fighter, make it the Super Hornet. It's probably the best ship in the game. It's a little on the slower side. It doesn't turn as quickly, so it's easier for new pilots. And you're going to get a lot of those because this is a free fly. So yeah, hit that Super Hornet up. You'll get some decent guns, decent shields, nice overall experience. And honestly, I think the entire game is balanced around this ship. I think this is like the linchpin. So if you're only going to fly one, fly that. If you're going to do just one walk around in ship, do the Valkyrie. If you're interested in exploration, do the Terrapin. I actually like the Valkyrie a lot. I know I picked on it, but I also tried to make it clear that I like the Valkyrie. I think it's a really cool ship. I love the way it flies. I love all the guns. I even like the stupid ladder instead of an elevator and an airlock. I mean, I don't care about that, but it's true. It probably should have some kind of an airlock for the for the beds. But it doesn't matter because it's really cool. And if you want to get a big ship feeling on November 23rd, this is the big ship to fly. November 24th, Roberts Space Industries. If you're only going to fly one ship, it should probably be a constellation, and it should probably be the constellation Phoenix, because you might not get the opportunity to fly this one again. Even if you get the game, this one's going to be hard to find. If you have time for more, definitely do the constellation Phoenix and one other constellation, because the other ones they're basically identical. There's a few differences, but they look the same. If you're only going to fly one Aurora, and I do recommend you do, fly the LN. I really like the LN. I love the Aurora. I love the looks. It reminds me of Starbug for some reason. I like the coffin bed and back. And this is probably the best fighter for brand new pilots. If you've never flown before and you don't know how the game works, this one's going to be a lot more forgiving. It's a lot slower. It's a lot easier to get used to. It's got some decent weapons, and you can do a little bit of damage. So if you're brand spanking new and you can only fly one fighter on this day, make it the LN. Also, if you can get a hold of the Ursa rover, this one's going to be trickier because you can't put it in free flight and you can't just load it from wherever you spawn. Like if you spawn on Olisar, you can't load it. You have to be on a planet to load this. So this is trickier to get, but if you can get a hold of one, do. And if you can't get a hold of one in game, you can have a look at one in the hangar. You used to be able to drive them around in the hangar. You can't anymore. So, yeah, get a look at it if you can. Just pop into the hangar and look at it, because this is probably the best all-purpose ground vehicle. Origin Jump Works. If you can only touch one ship in Origin Jump Works, get the 600i and look around inside. It's really cool. I haven't done my interior tour yet, and I don't know if I'm going to anytime soon. But I really like the interior of this thing, even though I don't want it. I like the styling. Even though I don't like swoopy things. I love that there's like granite ceilings. It's ridiculous. Get a look at the inside of this one. Fly this one because it's a good big ship to fly. It's a little easier for the big ships because it can turn a little faster than like something like a Gemini. I would also recommend the M50 if you're into racing. This is a really, really good racer. And it's actually... the toughest ship I've ever fought in Arena Commander is an M50 with a really good pilot. These things are nasty. Can't hit them. I hate it. The 300 series, as much as it pains me to say it, I'd probably skip it, because these are going to change completely. The flight style is going to change in the not too distant future. These are not in any way representative of what they will be in the future. So as much as I like them, and as cool as I think they look, skip them, because they're not going to be what they are now at all anytime in the near future. So yeah, never mind those. If you have time, sure, look at them. If not, skip it. The 85X, it's a little short range runabout. It says it right here, and it's not a lot of fun. It looks like a gaming mouse, if you ask me. Aegis Dynamics. There's a lot of ships here you're going to want to have a look at, and they will take you a lot of time. Definitely, definitely, definitely get a look at the inside of the Reclaimer. That is a lot of fun to run around in. Unfortunately, it's going to take you about 15 to 20 minutes just to look at the inside of this ship. I would also look at the inside of the Hammerhead, and I would also look at the inside of the Retaliator. These three are where I would focus my time and energy, just to look at the inside of them, because they're so cool. The Hammerhead, because you get to play with those giant turrets. The Reclaimer, because it might be the coolest ship interior going right now. I like that one a lot. And the Retaliator, because it's a submarine, and you get to look at those giant torpedoes. Every time somebody says, oh, the Retaliator's underpowered, and then I go in and I look at those massive torpedoes made for taking out the biggest ships in the game, I think, what do you mean underpowered? You have more explosive power in the Retaliator than any other ship currently available. You just can't shoot it yet. And if you're going to fly one fighter here, do the Saber. I really like the Saber. It's top 5 fighters for me. Might be number 3. I like the Saber a lot. It's got decent firepower, it's relatively quick, and it's stealth. Not that you can do any stealthing right now, but it will be stealthy eventually. The Vanguard's also worth a look. So if you have more time, definitely look at one of those. Those are very neat. Those are long-range, multi-crew fighters, essentially. And they're a lot of fun to fly, too. But, yeah. November 27th, Drake Interplanetary. This one is difficult for me because I would just say look at all of them because I love Drake. But if you can only look at one, again, I recommend the big ship because it's really cool to walk around in. And this one, the interior has the most Millennium Falcon vibe. It's really cool. I like this ship a lot. Plus, it's asymmetrical, and that's always fun. If you want that Millennium Falcon vibe, but you don't want to spend 10 minutes looking at the inside of the Caterpillar, you also get a taste of it in the Herald. If you're only going to fly one ship here and you just want the flying experience, do the Buccaneer. I love that ship. Absolutely love the Buccaneer. So much fun. If you want to look at a ship that you definitely might want to own in the game later on, the Cutlass Black is a really good choice. This is an excellent multi-purpose ship, and it's got a neat interior. I liked the interior before. I like it very much now. Lots of fun. The Dragonfly, you can summon it at basically any port. It's teeny tiny and it's fun to fly. If you can fly it on a planet, yeah, take the time to do that. It's a good joyride. But man, this Buccaneer, love that ship. That's probably my favorite Drake ship. Alien manufacturers, I am not a big fan of any of them. Personally, I would skip them all. I don't care. But the Cartual, if you're going to look at one, look at this one. It's got a really neat styling. It's really fun to look at. The animations are excellent. The sound design is wonderful. So if you just want like to feel the ship, to look at it and poke it and listen to it, do the Cartual. If you want one to fly and fight with, do the Glaive. The Glaive is my favorite fighter. It's relatively quick and it packs a pretty big punch. And plus it is neat to look at the alien ships. The Nox, I mean, you already did the Dragonfly, so why do the Nox, right? The Blade, you know, it's neat, but the Glaive is better. This is another one that I would really have a hard time picking. Musashi Industrial and Starflight Concern on the 29th. I just look at them all except for these two because they're basically just that one, right? But the Freelancer is exactly what it says here. It's not as fun to fly, but it's kind of neat to poke around in. This is sort of entry-level, decent cargo ship. If you're into mining, definitely check out the Prospector. This is the only functional mining in the game right now. The Razor is an excellent racer. Don't bother with these two. They're basically just this. The Reliant is a starter ship that you might want to check out. It's sort of got a little more cargo, and it's two-seater. So you can have a co-pilot to help you run things while you fly. That one's neat to look at. And definitely check out a Starfarer. If you're only going to look at one ship this entire week, I say go for the Starfarer because it's the best ship in the game. Obviously, the Gemini is the best ship because that's the one that I have. No, seriously though, if you're only going to look at one Gemini, look at the base Starfarer because you get to see the spaceship Blanky. But yeah, if you want to do combat in a big ship like in the PU, go for the Gemini. And if you can, put some Combine ballistic cannons on the front because they took them off. Wait, I think this might still have the Combine cannons. Check it out. If this one still has the Combine cannons, then do combat in that. Next, we have sort of like the grab bag on the 30th. The P-52 Merlin, honestly, you can probably pass. It's a really cool little ship. It's like a little sports car. Kind of looks like a wiener. This is, I mean, it's fun to fly if you want to race, but it's not very good for fighting, and it's not going to be anybody's first choice of ships. This is the ship you fly when you happen to have one. As cool as it is not great. The Cyclone, if you can get to a planet, definitely drive a Cyclone. And if you can only drive one Cyclone, drive the RC, because that's the racing version with boost, and you can do some wicked sweet jumps. Down here we have the Mustangs. Mustangs. If you are only doing one racer this week, and you've never flown before, do the Gamma. This is the easiest racer. And they say every flyable ship in the game, but I don't see an Omega down here. Nope, you guys can't fly an Omega. But Gamma's the same thing. It's just, you know, oh, it used to be green. Now it's black and blue. But yeah, great racer. The Delta is a decent fighter, though if you can, swap out the repeaters, I recommend, for the size 2 autocannons on the Alpha or the Beta. I think those both have size 2s. You might want to have a look at the Beta if you want an entry-level ship that has living quarters. This is still your best bet for functionality. Even though I'm disappointed in the styling and the looks of the interior, you can't beat the function. It's all there. So you still have really good living quarters on a ship, and it's fun to feel like you're flying your house around in this tiny little house. I don't know, maybe that's just me. I always kind of wanted to live in a tiny little motorhome for a while, but then I had a wife and kids, and they're all like, oh, we want, heating system. Oh, Daddy, I want a bathroom that I don't have to empty every week. Oh, shut up. You'll buy your own house then. Anyway, no, my children don't really sound like that. Neither does my wife. And she's going to get so mad at me. Anyway, I went off on a tangent there. Yeah, you can try the Mustangs. These are starter ships, and the Beta is probably still my favorite. But the Delta is a fun fighter, and the Gamma is a good racer. And that does it. That's all of the ships. So which one do you want to fly? I hope my descriptions have helped you out. I hope that you try the game and you have a computer that can run it. And I hope I will see you next time.